One of the biggest points in the Muslim calendar starting next week, Ramadan. Coronavirus, of course, is so disruptive for everyone at the minute, but what does it mean specifically for Muslims in the weeks ahead?
Good morning, Sophie. Yeah, absolutely. I think we as a nation have been faced with this huge lockdown to keep everyone safe. And this will prove a very challenging time for Muslims who generally enter Ramadan, as so to speak, in fasting, and also trying to work with others. And basically, it's all about giving and sharing. So while it's a spiritual month for us to come together and practice our faith, it's a time when we would spend a lot of time doing a lot of charitable work, going out and meeting people, going to the mosques. So it's going to be very different to our previous experience in the UK.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. As you say, a time when you often reach out to other people who share your faith, you have to socially distance. What kind of changes will people have to make?
So what we're pushing from the Muslim Council of Britain and many Muslims up and down the country, as mosques are all closed and it's a hive of activity during the month of Ramadan, we're putting out a campaign this week called Ramadan at Home. So it'd be very different. It's really about families staying indoors, fasting together, and also breaking their fast together as families within their own homes. And then looking at innovative ways in how they can share this experience through online methods, as we're doing for many different things nowadays, using social media and so on, but also encouraging people to still be charitable and support campaigns, again, through online methods. And yet we still have many mosques and people up and down the country who continue to volunteer, helping those who are most vulnerable and needy at this very difficult time.
Interesting for you to talk about the importance of charitable giving. We know, of course, how concerned charities are at the minute, that donations are drying up because of the hardship through COVID-19. How important do you think the month of Ramadan could be in trying to tackle that?
It's vital for us. So there was a campaign launched a couple of weeks ago where many of the Muslim charities came together calling for a national solidarity campaign, bringing together all of the major charities within the UK to raise funds to support all of those needs. Similarly, just this weekend, we've launched another campaign. As we know, all of the mosques in the UK are closed. Many of them are charitable organisations, and they are really struggling for funds to sustain themselves and to keep their staff. So we've launched a campaign, again in partnership with an organisation called Launch Good and also the Muslim Charities Forum, bringing together, trying to pool everyone's support, where every mosque can use this platform to raise funds for their institutions. At the same time, many of the international NGOs, they're also raising money. Historically, each year, Muslim charities, especially in the month of Ramadan, raise over £100 million just from the UK alone.
Now, I just wonder, British Muslims often from BAME backgrounds, I just wonder, are you alarmed to have seen the statistics that show that those from non-white backgrounds appear to be more vulnerable to COVID-19? We, of course, don't know the reasons for it, but is that something that is causing concern?
Well, from the reports I've seen over the last couple of weeks, with some of the deaths that have been announced quite publicly from doctors and medics, as well as friends and family that I've seen through various social media output, it's quite apparent. It seems that there seems to be quite a high number of people from BME backgrounds, black and minority ethnic backgrounds, and also Muslim as well, which is a real concern for us. So we are seeing a voice growing. I've seen many articles around raising this concern. But it is really something of concern for us. So initially we heard that it will affect people who are over 70 with underlying health conditions. And if we look at BME communities, actually underlying health conditions, health inequalities, living in some of the most deprived areas in the UK, they would be the most vulnerable.